I'm Ausolot, and I figured out who the Loyal Three's master is. Or at least I think I did. However, before I explain why I think I've solved the mystery of the Peach Boy, let me tell you my interpretation of the legend of Momotaro. One day, an old woman and her husband found a peach floating on a river where they cleaned their clothes. To their surprise, the peach came to life and told them he was sent by the gods to be their son. The old woman and her husband did not have children of their own, so they graciously took him in as their son. The old married couple soon found that Momotaro possessed profound powers and abilities. When Momotaro was just 5 years of age, he was able to cut a tree in half with a simple knife. When Momotaro reached adolescence, he heard of a band of Oni who took up residence in his land and decided to confront the ogres and went on a journey to find them. Along Momotaro's travels, he found and befriended 3 talking animals: a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant. The 3 animals agreed to help Momotaro defeat the band of Oni in exchange for some of his food he brought with him. Momotaro agreed with the animals and gave them some of his rations. Finally, the 4 travelers reached the band of infamous Oni and fought with them, defeating their chief. Momotaro and his animal companions returned home victorious with the ogre's treasures and their Oni chief as a captive. Did you like my rendition of the Legend of Momotaro? I worked pretty hard on that. If you liked it, consider subscribing. It would make me feel great. So, but, you know, now let's continue on with this. So, now that we know the story of Momotaro, how do I know who their leader is, or their master? Well, in the story, Momotaro was a boy who was found on a river who was sent by the gods. Now, I don't think there's going to be any gods in this game relating to the Pokemon. However, we have a few breadcrumbs we can follow. So we're going to start here in the temple. And we're going to go talk to this lady. The old signboards. She has a Chimecha witch with her, which I'll get into a little bit later. However, if you talk to her, that human depicted on the old signboards, I wonder if that's the Loyal Three's trainer. She specifically mentions the human listed on the thing that's next to the Loyal Three. However, in all of the stories, there is no mention of a human battling Ogerpon with the Loyal Three. So, very interesting. So, let's go jump to the very first signboard we ever read. Alright, now that we're here, so we can clearly see that right here, that's Momotaro right there. Or at least, maybe that's Momotaro. Because in the story, Momotaro befriended 3 animals, a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant. And he went and the ogre was invading his homeland, so he went and fought the ogre with the animals. But yet again, there's no mention of the Momotaro or any human in there. He does have that weird string thing on the back, but I think that's just a string of Pokeballs. Some trainers have those. I think some of the Rangers, it's like a string of Pokeballs, because he's throwing a ball, so maybe he tried to catch the ogre, because the ogre is a Pokemon. Okay, so our our detective, what am I trying to say? Our trail starts here. So I've already fixed the monument to the Loyal Three. So this thing says, the Loyal Three monument. Long ago, these 3 courageous Pokemon protected Masui town from destruction. They defeated the ogre that had come to attack the village at the cost of their own lives. Their remains were laid to rest with the people of respect below the very statues. So they buried them here, and to represent them, they have these knitted outfits. Monkey Dory has a hat, Okidoki has like a scarf, and Pheasantipity has, what do you call it, a cloak or something? So then you're like, oh wow, that represents, you know, there are toxic chains on them. However, we have an actual location on where we can, like, the trail doesn't end here. There's another location that hints at how these knitted things were made. And I'm going to show you right now. Alright, now we're in this infamous location. So, why am I here? Other than the dusty old relic here. Or the dusty old decoration. If you didn't know, you could actually click on this and read it. But this doesn't lead us to this necessarily. If we talk to the lady here, lovely to, if we click on buy, you see at the top left corner, the freaking store's name is Peachy's. Momotaro is a peach boy. Okay, so if that wasn't enough, if we go over to clothing, so you're probably wondering, huh, there's knitted socks and knitted gloves. So the knitted things look exactly like the knitted things that are on the statues for the Loyal 3. Coincidence? I don't think so. So, if that means this is, you know, related to the Peachies, or the Peach Boy, and if we go by the story, he was found in a river. What's over here? Oh, that's right, a river. There's a river right next to the place that is selling the knitted clothing that also looks exactly like the Loyal 3's depiction on their monument. And on top of that, there's this dusty old decoration, implying that it's old. So if we zoom in on the camera here, you can see all this weird white stuff grow up on the thing, and that just means that it's old. So what does this tell us? So that means this dusty old decoration has probably been passed down in this family for generations and generations, and it's just been sitting here just to attract customers, but they probably don't know what it is. My guess, and a lot of other people's guesses, is that this used to be a Pokemon of some sort. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. On the screen here, I'm about to show you what someone found in the game files. That is Momotaro, I think. And now here is an artist's reproduction. Their credit is in the picture. But yeah, that's what people think, and myself included, think that what this Pokemon is, or what this item is. So, the trail doesn't end there because I still have some more speculation to go. But yeah, so it's so fascinating that Game Freak left all these clues for us to find, and now it's raining. So my guess isn't necessarily that this little Pokemon is Momotaro, because I have a theory that Momotaro was an actual kid, and his Pokemon was this Pokemon. Momotaro was probably just a random kid. I don't think Game Freak is gonna go that into the story. However, there's a lot of parallels I'm gonna make later in this video that'll probably blow your mind. It blew my mind. I was like, my god, I done it! So, this Pokemon, this is probably a Pokemon, and in the story of Momotaro, it was found floating down by the river. And actually, I'm going to go fly over to this spot over here and read you what this sign says. Alright, so this is the Mosswell Confluence, one of the 6 wonders of Kitakami. It says the 2 rivers that flow from Oni Mountain converge here at the Mossfall Confluence. People say that the items lost upriver eventually wash up all the way down here. Momotaro was found on a river, flowing down a river. So this probably means that, see where all those items are? This might have been where Momotaro was found, or at least the Pokemon. So that means it said it was flowing down from top of Oni Mountain. You get a really good look here. I didn't even notice. And on top of that, if that means that Pokemon slid, I guess, down from, I'm guessing from the Crystal Pool, because as we know, there's a certain Poison Rock type up here, Glimora and Glimmet. They were somehow probably created from the Terrasto energy that emanates from here. Now, I don't think that Orgerpon's friend or, great friend, I don't think he's the one who created the Crystal Pool. I think he just eventually came here, just kind of, hey, what's up, guys? And then he just showed up. And that's how Orgerpon and everything else was able to use a terrestrial phenomenon here, is because this lets them do it. It like harmonizes with the wavelengths or whatever and lets them do it. However, if that's the case, this has been here for a lot longer. If you notice that the Crystal Pool symbol looks like one of the 4 corners on the map, or on the DLC. If we look right here, see that top right corner? That is that. However, if you look in the top left, what do you think that is? Is it an elephant if you turn it sideways and squint? No. That is Oni Mountain. How do I know? Well, if you look very closely, imagine if each side was parallel with that jutting protrusion. Those are horns. And what do we know of a place that has a broken horn? Oni Mountain! This has some significance to this Pokemon's creation. Which means somehow terrestrialization can create Pokemon, or maybe these are paradox Pokemon from the past or future. I don't know, but top right's Oni Mountain, top left is the Crystal Pool. I think I know what the bottom 2 are, but I'm not going to go in the episode. I might do that for a whole other episode, but I think I know what those bottom 2 are. So, now that we know where Momotaro came from, or at least the Pokemon, let's go ahead and fly all the way to the top of this place and read the signpost. Alright, we're at the Crystal Pool. So, oh gosh, it's so laggy. But what it says is, long ago the Crystal Pool was infused with crystalline material from an unknown source. I don't know if it's from Paldea or not. We don't know where this phenomenon came from. Its water is a faint glow, but is safe to drink. Hey, it stopped raining. Even serves as a village's water source. Tales say that gazing upon the glowing water can allow you to meet those who have passed on. Okay, that's very interesting. Hey, there's a little Cleffa. I've never seen one up here. Anyway, that's also very interesting. I'm about to go into why that Pokemon is going to be very important in the next few days / in a month. So this pool flows all the way down both sides in the Kitakami region, down here and over here. And both of these flow down here, meeting here. And Momotaro was found here. However, which is very interesting is that there are a bajillion ghost types up here. And Slugma, which I might get into, Glimmet. So it says that you can talk with like dead loved ones, which means ghost type. So a lot of people are thinking this new Momotaro Pokemon is going to be poison or poison ghost type, which makes sense. If that's the case, oh, Moonstone. If that's the case, that means this Pokemon has spooky powers, which is very important for October. And I'm about to show you why now. Okay, so here we are at the community center. Huh, that's interesting. There's a Clefable there. Huh, that's very interesting. I didn't even realize that. So, when we walk in here, when we play the game, we probably, oh, look, a Clefairy. Oh, I can change my thing. Oh, look, bathrooms for, like, genders and whatever. However, a lot of people probably don't realize you can interact with a lot of things in this area. You can interact with that, interact with this, interact with this. You can also interact with this. Notice, this October, the community center will increase rental rates for some of its facilities. This applies to conference rooms, event spaces, and lodging. Find the adjusted rates below. This October, or at least at the end of this month, there's going to be a special Clefairy, a massive outbreak out in the wilds, to represent the full moon, which is very fascinating. Pokemon Sleep is also doing this, so maybe we'll get some Pokemon Sleep interaction with this game. Who knows? But as you know, as everyone knows, October is the spoopy month, and at the very end of October is gonna be another moon event in Pokemon Sleep and probably in this game, with being October. So right here is a conference room. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but it says looks like a conference room. Probably won't be using this. They could have just stopped at looks like a conference room, but Game Freak specifically put probably won't be using this, which is very fascinating. So, something is going to happen in October in the real world regarding probably this new fan-speculated Pokemon with evidence supporting it. If we go over here to notice about garbage collection days. Okay. If we look on this, there's a bunch of flyers, garbage collection, health checkups, karaoke. So this thing keeps referring garbage collection. And then request community center, seeking help with mowing. Request from community center could also mean during this October event. There's also one where have experience making masks, apply today. Mask making, you can go buy the masks here. So why do I bring this up? So October, something happening, but then there's also going to be like a garbage collection day. So let's quickly go outside and I'll show you something. So I don't know about you, but I sure have noticed that there are tons of garbage bags everywhere. There's some here, there's some, those are rocks, there's some, those are all, nope, see, there's some more garbage bags. I think there's a few more garbage bags here and there. Just kind of littered about the place. Like, so my guess is that there's gonna be like a garbage day, and this lady is going to throw out this item here, the dusty old decoration. It's like, I don't need it anymore. Here, you kid, you can have it. So, yeah, something spoopy is gonna happen in October about this Pokemon. Maybe this Pokemon has been sealed away somehow. So, if you look over here, there's a little Chimecho thing. Those of you who don't know, Chimecho is a chime that's based on, that's supposedly used to ward off evil spirits and predict danger. If you can slightly hear that, I'm going to turn down my game's volume in a sec. Okay, so I turned on my game's volume, and I don't know if you can slightly hear that, but there's a little bit of chime going. Jimmy chime. Jim chime. Very subtle. Very subtle. But it's there. What is also very interesting is that if we go into our Pokédex here and look at Chimecho, we can notice that this interesting scene. Does this look familiar? On that side is the fake Chimecho, and this side is the real Chimecho. And if you look in the middle, that's Peach's shop with little Momotaro plushie there, or whatever that is, which is very fascinating. If you haven't noticed, every single Teal Mask Pokédex, if they're from from returning Pokemon from the Paldea Dex, has a completely different background. Some of which are really funny and amusing. Ludicolo. There's Snorlax, so all of them have very interesting pictures. If we go back to him, very interesting that Game Freak specifically put this guy in all places here. Sure, it could be to, like, oh, look at the Chimecho thing, but... So, now that we know that this thing wards off evil spirits, could this thing be warding off this evil spirit? So there is another location that I want to show you that is also very interesting. Alright, so most of you probably have seen this area before. The Gracious Stones, this very mysterious grouping of stones So like in the middle of nowhere with no grass in the center of it. If we read it, only a select few know of this power spot. Keep that in your brain nugget. The gracious stones. Curiously, no grass grows within their ring. Curiouser yet, gazing upon them lifts the spirits. Oh, and there's a little, I didn't even notice that they even have the little Oni mountain symbol on them. So why do I bring that up? Well, so this says it's the power spot, which you might know. Have you ever heard of a Pokemon called Stone Joiner? Do you see his ability there? It's called a power spot. So, Stone Joiner might not be directly connected to whatever this is. Oh my god, he's so big. However, he is a type, he's based on stuff like Stonehenge. They're called megaliths, which are stones that were placed by people for purposes that we kind of can speculate. And this ring here is a type of megalith. It's like, I can't remember the name. Give me a sec. Alright, the name of these stone circles is called a chromalech. But it is a type of megalith, which is very fascinating. This has led me down this rabbit hole. It says he has power spot, and this is considered a power spot. Megaliths, or the thing I just said, what this word is. It's interesting that he's not coming into this circle. It's fascinating. What's the matter, Noctowl? You don't want to come in this circle? Maybe there's an evil spirit here, huh? So this could be either a ritual for warding out spirits, or it could be a burial ground. So, here's what I'm thinking. This might be where their master is buried. This could be a far-reaching stretch, but it's a stretch. Now, as you see, there is no grass growing around here. And what we know about the Teal mask specifically is that the wearer can make grass grow where it doesn't grow. And we know that the only mask that the Loyal 3 didn't take was the Teal mask. Could this be because they're evil and the Teal mask is good? I don't know. So I have a theory that either the master is buried here, or or Orgerpon's friend. Because without the mask, maybe it can't make things grow, because his friend was wearing the mask when he got defeated. So this also leads me to another goose chase, but we're gonna go back to a familiar location right here. Alright, now we're back here. So you might be wondering, why are we coming back here? So I'll tell you why. You notice that the ground doesn't have any grass on it? So you could say that they put dirt here so it can make a little path. But what's curious is that the circle goes beyond the fence here. It goes down here and goes around here. My guess is because the Loyal 3 are buried here, no life. Even these trees barely have any life on them, and this tree does. So perhaps wherever these guys are buried with the toxic chain, perhaps there can be no life. Maybe it's like a yin-yang kind of thing. One's life and one's death. The Teal masks and the masks are life and the chain is death. That would make 4 versus 4. The 4 masks versus the 4 Loyal 3. Plus their master, I guess. So that's very fascinating. So that kind of emboldens the fact and strengthens the hypothesis and theory that their master is buried out there, because no life can be grown where they're buried. But so now that we've solved that mystery, maybe our story isn't done, because history, I think, is repeating itself with Kieran. So you might think I'm losing my mind. However, as everyone remembers, when Kieran punched this with his fist, everyone eventually found out that there was the faintest little glow on his fist when he punched this. He gave the Teal mask back to the protagonist, and then the loyal three awakened. So, why do I think this is substantial? Do I think the master is puppeting him? No. What I think is that Kieran is a descendant of Momotaro himself. Think I'm crazy? Kieran has pink hair, or pink in his hair. Okay, that doesn't exactly prove that he is a descendant. They've been doing a lot of descendants lately with Perrin, and descendants and ancestors of certain people. This could make sense. They even live with their grandparents, which, if you remember, in the Tale of Momotaro, Momotaro was found by an old married couple. Karen and Carmine live with an old married couple. Now, do I think Karen was found washing up on a river? No. Do I think he's related to a Pokemon with a guy and a Pokemon getting it off? No. I think Momotaro is a human who had these three's master as a Pokemon, and he was able to control them using maybe some power or whatever. So, now that we know that, I think when Kieran punched this, that's the moment where he befriended the talking animals. I say befriended because he just punched a rock and they came to life. However, in the Tale of Momotaro, when Momotaro met the three talking animals, he gave them all they gave them all his rations, and in exchange for helping him fight the Oni. I think those rations in the Pokemon game were the toxic chains given to them by the special Pokemon, the Momotaro Pokemon, which is just fascinating. So, yeah, which is also another little fascinating, which strengthens this theory is why this took place in this land. I'm about to blow your mind with a few Pokemon here that live in the region. So, as we know, there is a talking monkey, dog, and pheasant in this land here, that within the land of Momotaro, who they befriended. What if I told you there is a certain dog, monkey, and bird that live in this area? Alright, let's start with the dog. So, we have little good old Houndour here. We have several dog Pokemon in this new region. We have this guy, Growlithe, and Rockruff. However, if we look at its habitat, where do you see where it primarily lives? Well, we found Okidoki, who was one of the talking animals. Let me show you another Pokemon. Here we have Mankey, the only monkey Pokemon in this new region. And where can he be found? Where Monkey Dory was in the lake over there. Not convinced yet? Oh, it gets cooler, I guess. For this next one, I kind of had to do a bit of stretching because there are several bird Pokemon in the region. There's Starly in the Staraptor line, there's Cramorant, there's the Stork Pokemon, there's Swanna, there's so many bird Pokemon. But I think the best fit for Pheasantipede is Starly. Because they're weak, blah blah blah, no. But what's very interesting is Staraptor. It never stops attacking even if it's injured. It fusses over the shape of its comb. Beauty. Pheasantipede gained its beauty from the toxic thing, making it even more beautiful. So this could be Starly, and where can you find Starly? At the place in the Oni Tower, or Oni Cave, right over there. That's kind of also where we can find all these bird Pokemon, which is fascinating. So that strengthens the theory that Houndour, a Mankey, and a bird Pokemon, not necessarily a pheasant. Although we do have Unpheasant, that is an actual Pokemon, and they have been introducing a lot of Gen 5 Pokemon. I'm guessing they're going to have Unpheasant in the next DLC. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, all 3 of these Pokemon were in here. So, that's very fascinating. What's also so very interesting is that if you look at these lanterns here, one of each of these represents something from the Loyal 3 and Ogerpon. Rock, Poison, Fighting, Grass, Fire, Water, Psychic, and Fairy. Fairy for Pheasantipity, Psychic for Munkidori, Fighting for Okidoki, and Poison represent all of them. And then the elemental ones, Water, Fire, and Grass, and Rock, all represent Ogerpon. But then there's one that's kind of sticks out a bit. That Ghost type over there. Could this mean that this new Pokemon that's the Peach Boy based on could be a Ghost type? However, I believe so. There's these guys over here. So you've probably met these a-holes scattered around the region here. These guys are the Ogre Clan, and I think there are 7 of them out in the region, and then he's the 8th and final one, and there's 8 types represented on those. I don't remember what their types were, but I think each of them represents one of those types. Him being the Ghost type, the final one. I think he was a Ghost type one. And you beat him and he gives you an ability patch, which is pretty cool. So it's very fascinating that they're part of the Ogre Clan. We go and defeat the Ogres and take their treasure. But maybe we're the the Peach Boy. But that's kind of a far-fetched Chink idea. But yeah, maybe that new Momotaro Pokemon is going to be a Ghost type because of that. Who the heck knows? So, do I think Momotaro in the old stories was evil? I actually don't think he was evil. All 3 of these Pokemon were in this region, which is very fascinating, but I think he might have good intentions just like Kieran. Maybe something else happened that we don't know that happened with Ogerpon and Momotaro and the Loyal 3. As we know, the Loyal 3 snuck inside of the Oni King's den, just like in the story, and took their treasure. And it does say that they took, in the story, they took the chief as captain, or as a captive. So that might mean Ogerpon's friends survive, but we don't have any more stories. So I'm guessing in October we're going to get like a free DLC update to this update in October. But yeah, maybe just like Kieran wanting more and more power and greed, that he just craves more and more and more. We kept beating him over and over again, and that's what awakened the Loyal 3. Kieran's anger and frustration and his greed for wanting more and more. He even fought us for Ogerpon, even though he didn't care about Ogerpon's feelings at that point. He just wanted it. So I think Kieran is the Loyal 3's master tangentially. Now that could be with some family that he something he got in his family's bloodline that lets him like control them. Because if we look at the Loyal 3's Pokédex entry, they are called the Retainer Pokemon. So Okidoki, Munkidori, and Pheasantipity are all the Retainer Pokemon. You might be thinking, what does Retainer mean in this sense? Retainer, in this context, means that they serve a master, or in some shape or form. And Kieran, in that one instant where he got so furious and mad that he punched the rock, and he kind of commanded them to do his bidding unconsciously. Like, he means good, or at least in the beginning, but the three Loyal 3 just did out what they were set to do in the first place. Take the Onis and Ogres' treasure for themselves. And they got them. And eventually, like I said before, Kieran also wanted that power for himself, and now in the DLC in Indigo Disc, we know he wants to crave. What are you doing here, Bonsley? Hi, I exist. Okay, hey why? My God, it's the mythical Bonsley. No, hey Bonsley. But yes, that's sort of my theory on as to who the Loyal Three's master is. As of right now, I think it's Kieran because he may or may not be a descendant of the original Momotaro, who had a Pokemon that let him bestow powers to the three talking animals. And Momotaro or this supposedly Momotaro Pokemon may or may not have been evil. We don't know, or maybe they were filled with greed, because in the story of Momotaro, oh God, he's fighting me! Oh my God! But yeah, that's kind of the end of my theory here. Nothing else much to elaborate. So maybe in October, stay clear, or in the next few days, there might be an update, or even in October, there might be an update to the game that lets us get that item that's on the desk. So yes, Momotaro found this Pokemon. He heard of Ogerpon and his master, or his friend, coming to Kitakami, hearing how ugly and fearsome they looked, and he decided to, you know, he wanted those masks for themselves. Maybe they knew what powers they granted them. Maybe they wanted the Terrestrial phenomenon, much like Briar does right now. Briar could be the next villain, which I don't want because she's a really cool person. And looks, her outfit is freaking amazing, and I'm gonna stop gushing over that character. But yeah, and now days go by, and Kieran and Carmen may or may not be the descendants of the original Momotaro, who this shop might be related to. Or maybe it's just got grandfathered in, not literally by blood, but by through like hand. Like maybe this shop existed way back in the day, or the shop was Momotaro, and because they live right over there, it's a very small area. So, yep, and that's why I think Kieran is the new Loyal Three's master, or at least he has the intentions of it now. He just craves to defeat us in battle. We have Ogerpon. That was his treasure. Now maybe he thinks we're the ogre. So, anyway, that's my theory. I would love to hear all your feedback in the comments below. If you like this video, I would love if you could subscribe to me. It would help me grow my channel and let you know when my next upload will be. So, yes, thank you so much for watching. See ya!